Hi, am I live? I assume I am because I usually am when it tells me I am. Hi guys, how's it going? Long time no see. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's really good to see you all. I feel a little bit weird about doing this live stream just because though I have been making videos for like a long time, I don't really think I've ever let myself cry on camera before or talk about something as personal as this last video. So I have an intense feeling of like weird shyness right now, or just like a overexposure. I've like been unable to rewatch the videos and publishing it just because it feels so weird. But I will say the response has been like wild in the best way. People have been really sweet, and to those of you who sent me like emails or DMs or stuff, I've read them and been very moved by them. And if you got something out of it, I'm really glad that you did. Yeah, it's been a very weird couple of days. So first thing I want to say is sorry I was gone for a while. I hope you can see that it was not because I was like fucking off going to Puerto Vallarta doing my own thing. It's because I was spiraling trying to find a way to talk about this in a way that felt accessible and like honest and real, and still like it offered you something, like not just grief for the sake of grief, but like something that was informative and gave you language to understand something that you might be grappling with. It is by far the hardest writing challenge I've ever had. Like I've never struggled with the script like I struggled with this one. And I mentioned in the video that this video went through like a couple different iterations because I'm like very confident talking about Fox News and like stuff that I have evidence for and like showing you clips and graphs and stuff. But obviously there's just a part in the video where you just like stop talking about evidence and just say like, here's how I'm feeling, here's where I'm at, this thing has been haunting me, here's how I feel about it. And also just like I don't get emotional about a lot of things. Like I have a hard time crying in movies and stuff. There are, I think, two things that make me cry. One is like lost causes, people trying something knowing that it won't work, and the other is like love for humanity, but just like a general kind of reverence for other human beings and feelings of connectedness to other human beings. So this subject like collides the two things that deeply fucked me up, and it's just weird to talk about that on camera. And though I did this video a bunch of different times and like obviously have obsessed about this script forever, even still, like when I was recording it, I like could not stop myself from crying. And if I talk about it again, I would still cry because it just fucks me up. I don't know how else to say it. Like I'm not an easily emotional person, but something about the way that Camus talks about just like doing your best for other human beings, to me is like the most simple and beautiful and like sturdy thing I've ever read. So while I was reading the book, I was fucked up by it, and making the videos fucked up by it. It was just a lot. So I figured I would just talk a little bit about like the production process and what was going through my head, and then we could just shoot the shit and take an hour off for friendship with each other, because I have missed like interacting with you all. It's been a tremendously lonely experience making this video because I have no idea when I was making it if anybody would relate to what I was talking about. Like I had a real fear that I would publish this and people would be like, why are you such a sap? Why are you so emotional about this stuff? And that was very scary. But the whole time I was just trying to like leap of faith it. Like, if Camus felt this, surely some other people must feel this. It can't just be you. And so I just kind of like really hoped that the reaction would not be, you weirdo, why are you crying about this? This isn't funny. Why are you doing this? And it hasn't been that. So thank you for like giving me space to show up in a different way. Like I think if you know me from Vox or from even before then, you have like a certain style you're used to from me, which is like lots of jokes, lots of like bullshit, and like kind of like a caustic attitude about things, which is a part of me, but I really, you all let me have a chance to be more of like a fully rounded out human being, which is like someone who also struggles with sadness and grief and exhaustion and all that stuff. And it was just really nice to have strangers tell me that that thing wasn't absurd to them or not bizarre to them. Like it is a very nice feeling. So some fun things about this video are like fun facts. These aren't fun facts. These is trivia about this video. The first version of this video is a Medium post, the only Medium post I have ever written, which I wrote in 2016, 2 days after the election, after Trump won. I wrote a Medium article called How to Be Hopeless that was like a note to myself that was like, this sucks. There is no arc of the moral universe. Everything's fucked. You have to keep trying. And I wrote it, and I hadn't read Camus. Obviously, there was no COVID, and I moved on and like got my job at Vox and did all that stuff. So this is like an iteration of a thing that I've grappled with for coming up on 5 years now, 4.5 years. And it's been haunting me like forever since I started making videos. Like every time I publish something that was like a snappy, quick, like, fuck Trump thing, I had this voice in the back of my head that was like, but aren't you scared? Aren't you sad? What if we lose? And it was like always there. And every time I would publish something, no matter how good it was like, aren't you scared? What if we lose? Oh God, this is not enough. And I've like spent many years in therapy around it and just grappling with feelings of hopelessness and all that stuff. So when I published my last video, the anti-politics video, if you watch to the end past the Patreon credit, you'll see like 5 seconds of me looking at the camera being like, good video. And then like kind of looking off camera, looking concerned because this video, How to Be Powerless, is the like rebuttal to anti-politics. It's like the answer. Anti-politics was a video about like rah rah, all in this together, big us, like solidarity. And this video is like, what do you lose though? What if you don't win? And so this is like the natural brother to that video. And I was really glad that I could make it. I'm really glad I had time to make it. Like I could never have made this video working in a newsroom. There's just no fucking way. A, I wouldn't have had the time. B, I don't think I could have used like a book as my main reference. And C, I don't think I could have talked about grief and hopelessness and despair and decency. Like those things don't really work in a newsroom setting. So it's really a thing that I only could have made going independent. So if you were a patron of mine, you like gave me room to publish what is ostensibly now at 33, my opus. Like if I die tomorrow, play this video at my funeral and be like, that's all he had to say. That was it. That was Carlos in a nutshell. So it's fucking awesome that I can at 33 say, yeah, I published something that really feels like it. Like that's the thing I wanted to say. And obviously I have like a million more videos I want to make, and every concept that was in this video will come out in other videos too, but damn, not a lot of people at 33 get to say, I did this thing that really feels like the thing. And like, it's like my foundational belief about the world. So that is really cool. Thanks for letting me do that. It was really brutal at certain points. I had a couple cries while making it about like really doubting the shit out of myself. If you struggle with like self-doubt as a writer or creator and want some affirmation, please know that the whole time I was making this, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. No one will get this. This is a disaster. And actually, my dad, for Christmas, he like heard I was making a video about Camus. So he gave me this book called Just Create Dangerously. It's like one of Camus' speech that got transcribed that is Camus just talking about like the responsibility of writers and artists. And it really helped me a lot. I don't think I could have made this video without having my dad there, having my back, and just like reassuring me that this is worth talking about. Oh, I should probably give context. While I made this video, I moved twice. In October, I moved from my lease ended in New York, and I moved back home to Miami with my family. So I spent 6 months in Miami, and the first half of the video, which is really echoey and has terrible audio, is echoey because I shot that in a basically empty room in Miami where my stuff was in boxes. Like, that room was insanely echoey because there was nothing in that room. So that first half of the video was there. Then I moved back to New York into my new apartment here, and shot the second half of the video, death and whatever comes next, which is why like the audio quality gets much better in the second half of the video. But the first half of this video, and like while I was agonizing over it, I was at home with my family and like having my dad take me to the park and just sit every Sunday and just like talk through my ideas for this video. And he really like just had blind faith in me that I could do this thing. And that really helped me a lot. But yeah, my life was like in big limbo while I was doing this. I like bounced around. It's been like a very rough period of transition and feeling unmoored, which I think influenced this video a lot. Like it's happening. I was writing this and working on this during a period where my life was like really in flux, and I was like genuinely really struggling as a human being. This video on its surface is ostensibly about politics, obviously, but I think it has a double meaning, which is like my personal attempt to grapple with like suffering and feeling lost and like aimless and like unsure of what you're doing with yourself and feeling like you're just kind of fucking things up and like what to do in response to those feelings. And Camus helped me a lot there too. Like in the past like year and a half or whatever, I like very publicly had the Crowder YouTube fight, lost my job, went through a breakup, had to move back home. That was a bunch of other like personal shit, and then moved back. And there's just been a lot of points this past year where I've been like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I feel like everything I do is a disaster. Like everything I do is a fuck up, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I think one way to deal with that feeling is to get like incredibly mad and just like hate the world and like turn on the world and try to find scapegoats and lash out at people. Or I think like for me, lash out at myself. Like I'm a piece of shit. What am I doing wrong? Like why do things never work out? Like there must be something wrong with me. Thankfully I have like a therapist to talk me out of that, but that feeling is like really scary. And Camus or existentialism is helpful in that sense too. Like even beyond politics, just have this baseline belief of like, life is a shit show. You suffer for no reason. Like even if you do everything right, things won't go your way. What do you want to do about that? Do you want to like punish the world that hurt you constantly and like be ruthless to people and just be an asshole? Or can you like grieve the things that you lose, accept that it's not really about you, that like it's not really, the world doesn't revolve around you, and try even in your grief and like sadness and frustration to be like loving and decent and like, you know, if it's a loss, call the loss and like walk away, but don't hurt people, don't lash out, don't like try to control things that you can't control. And yeah, I don't know, it might be like too heavy for a video that's already heavy, but at the same time, I've been grappling with this feeling about politics. Like, yeah, I can't save the world. So what am I going to do? I'm grappling with these other personal feelings of like, yeah, I can't always protect myself from suffering. Like, I can't control people always. And so how do I want to respond to that reality? And it's like, fuck, just respond with love to your fellow humans who are also flailing and like try to be as kind as you can be. And when you can't win, just like walk away and love your friends and I don't know, just do no harm, basically. I'm getting too savvy. Okay, what else about this bit that I can talk about? I've read all your comments, they've been really nice. Sorry for making you all sit through an hour-long video. I know the video was kind of a pump fake because I'd say the first 35 minutes are like pretty typical Carlos video, like jokes, evidence, look at these clips or whatever. And then I think like when things turn purple and Carl comes out, I imagine the audience had a feeling of like, wait, this is like getting very heavy and dark. So like I needed to lure you into a state of grief rather than just say the world is doomed. What do you want to do about that feeling? And so the first two the stages of grief, like the denial, avoidance, scapegoating, I was trying to like lure you into expecting a big like, and here's how we fix it answer. So that when I said I don't know how to fix it, I was trying to be more honest. You felt like that feeling of, oh fuck, dad isn't going to save us right now or whatever. So I knew going into it that it was kind of like a pump fake, and wanted you to be there with me in that feeling, so you didn't feel like I was being overly dramatic or whatever for comedic effect or for dramatic effect. I'm really proud of how it turned out. There's some parts that I really agonize about. Even looking back at the video, like there's no way to look at yourself crying and not feel like it's weird or uncomfortable or inappropriate, even though that was really how I felt and is how I feel. But that part was kind of weird to watch back. There's some stuff I didn't use, some evidence I didn't use. Each of those subpoints, like avoidance, scapegoating, whatever, there's so much evidence for it, like throughout history. It's such a foundational thing in human behavior that once you see it everywhere. Like I see scapegoating and avoidance and even the fixing it impulse everywhere in politics now. Like even like leftists fighting each other on the internet, I'm like, yeah, we're just freaked out because we can't accept grief. So we're just like yelling at each other because they're so overwhelmed. And I see it myself all the time, obviously. But there's so much stuff where I was like, I just can't include this in the piece because it's already getting too big. It's an hour long. And I had this tension when I was making it about like, is this video for alt-right people who I'm trying to de-radicalize, which I'm just never going to be able to do. This is not what de-radicalization looks like. Or is this for like, you know, y'all, like leftists who may need to hear this? So I kept feeling this temptation to be like, you know, when I was talking about scapegoating, I wanted to just like have a moment where I was like, by the way, you anti-immigrant people, you're making this so much worse than it needs to be. Please stop. But I just knew that wasn't the point of this video, and it would take a lot more to convince those people. So I had to keep like pulling back my typical knee-jerk reaction to like scream at the right and be like, no, I'm screaming at the left now. So I had to keep like, that was like a real struggle the entire time. The scapegoating immigrants thing is so stupid. It's just like hard to not feel the urge to be like, why are you doing this? But I had to just let it go. But yeah, it was very weird to write a video that I think there's kind of like an assumption when I make something that you all are generally on my side and agree with me politically. And we all kind of agree that the Fox News crowd is batshit. And so we're trying to understand them. And it's just very different writing style to be like, I'm talking about us, what we do and how we grapple with things. Because there could have been a world where a lot of the audience's response was like, fuck you, that's not me. I don't do that. And I imagine there's like a good number of I don't know what the term is, but like the leftists who think everything is economics, that like the world is just economics and identity politics is like a waste of time. Those people might like be really freaked out by the scapegoating part, where I was like kind of explicitly criticizing them. But thankfully, no one's really reacted that way so far. Also, I was like pretty aggressively making a link between Nazism and Trumpism, which is genuinely how I feel. Like to me, those things are not meaningfully distinguishable, but that is not a thing I obviously could ever have said in a newsroom, and that a lot of leftists even might find to be a bad comparison. But there's just no way to read about the rise of fascism in any context and look at Trumpism and be like, yeah, these two things are meaningfully different in some way. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I just need to go big and be like, listen to them. They're saying the same exact thing. But yeah, that could have been scary too. I live in constant fear that the audience will suddenly completely change their minds about me and be like, you're a sellout centrist. So yeah, a lot of fear on this video. My poor therapist has heard me talk about this video for so long. So many sessions where I was just like, I know you don't want to hear about this again, but I'm really stressed out about this video. Can we just talk about it? And she really like just had a lot of faith in me and really talked me off the ledge a couple times. But I'm excited to talk about my other traumas now in therapy, instead of just always talking about this video and this particular trauma over and over again. I will answer these questions. Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore the chat. I just wanted to vent for a while. And also my goal is to hang out for like a bit, probably till like 10 o'clock Eastern time, because it's a really lonely process making this video. And I know that I always say that I'm wary of parasocial relationships, but this is my second birthday in the pandemic. I will take any relationship I can get. If you guys want to hang out with me for 2 hours, let's fucking hang out for 2 hours and chill. So other things that I'll say randomly, I'm in my office, which I never had an office before. Check out my dope ass poster. That's from the Fallout series, which I feel like is really apropos for a plague video, like someone just running to the apocalypse with a gun, like, ah! And then here, this is a little picture of Taco, Merle, and Magnus from the Adventure Zone, which is like the McElroy brothers D&D podcast, which I listened to. I plowed through the whole first season while I was down in Miami, and like really saved my life. So I got really into that. I have that up there. While I was home, I ran a D&D campaign for my siblings like twice a week for several months, and it was like the single coolest thing I have ever done. If you ever get to DM for all of your siblings, DM for your siblings. Like, even if you have to homebrew everything, just do it. It is so cool to watch your siblings like fucking like combo spells and kill a beholder. I watched my younger brothers and sisters kill a beholder that I was DMing, and it was like the coolest thing I've ever done. And also I got to like try a bunch of cool DM things. Like I had them build a base. I had them like lead a war campaign against like this crazy war that I launched. They all had characters that were like Miami Chonga themed or whatever. It's just like so. It is the single coolest thing I've ever done. DM a campaign for my siblings. We had to finish right before the end of the campaign, so next time I go home, they have to kill a dragon, attack a magical city that's been taken over by cultists, and kill a lich. Good luck, you guys. Roll well. But it is of everything that I did. It was a very rough time in my life to be like so unmoored. But fuck, if I die tomorrow, I can say I ran a D&D campaign for my siblings, and it is like the coolest, funnest thing I have ever done. The happiest I have been is watching my siblings roll crits on monsters that I made and be like, how do you want to kill this thing? Let's go. Like ripping off beholder's eyes. I like homebrewed them. They're each their own class. They have like, everything was made just for them, but it was just incredibly cool. And I don't have it in this room, but they commissioned as like a thank you a portrait of all of their characters like looking badass together that an artist made. So it's hanging up in my living room now, and it's just dope. I'm getting ready for my next D&D campaign. Every campaign I've ever played has been in the same world that I invented, just like at different parts in the timeline. But this is my first time being like, scrap that whole new world. So I just have a notebook full of like dumb notes to myself for this next campaign whenever I launch it and whenever we can play in a room together again. Oh, and I have a nephew. I had a niece before. My nephew was just born. He's also an Aries. Fire sign dries up. Really excited about it. He's beautiful. He's perfect. Those things have all been really great. Okay. We could do questions or just show. Oh, the other thing is, because it was just my birthday, my friend got me delivery of Tres Leches cupcakes, which is my favorite flavor in the whole world. So it might be too gross to eat a wet cupcake on live stream. But if you see me duck out for a few seconds and then come back covered in condensed milk, it's because of these. I'm gonna put it down for now because I'm gonna try to keep my willpower up for a while. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say about. That's my top line for this video. Thanks to everyone who like stuck in there with me. Thanks to everyone who like put up with the weird YouTube uploading issues. I'm really proud of the video, and I hope it makes you feel less lonely. Okay, if you got questions you want to ask, or just dumb shit you want to talk about, I'm totally down. Let's just like hang and shoot the shit for a while. What happens to the first part and the first upload on the video? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think maybe something might have been messed around in the YouTube editor after I published, and it just like cut off 6 minutes. But I didn't want that video. I don't think the video made that much sense if you did not hear that I was talking about a book and comparing two different plagues. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll just re-upload. And thankfully, everyone's been really great about commenting on the new upload, and it's got like 1,000 comments, and I don't know what that would do for engagement. The other annoying thing that happens, not to bitch too much, but I made a choice not to monetize my videos because I don't want YouTube to have any money because of me. I don't monetize any of my videos because I don't want to give YouTube one goddamn penny. But as a consequence, I didn't like make an AdSense account because I don't want any money from YouTube. But then YouTube nicks me from the partner program because I didn't sign up for an AdSense account. So I have to sign up for an AdSense account just so they can run ads, I guess, anyway. So I'm not a YouTube partner right now, which is annoying because then I can't have like an end card and I can't link to my Patreon in my video. It was a long birthday of dealing with YouTube bullshit, but I guess it's what she deserves for picking a fight with YouTube and then trying to publish on YouTube. Sandy asks, did I mean to wear the Fool t-shirt in the video? Sure did. I knew in the script that I was going to say at the end, we should be fools for each other. And I've always loved the Fool card. I think in general, the biggest thing I've gotten out of therapy is an appreciation for the Fool. Like, I'm the kind of person who grew up thinking that my worth was primarily based on my intelligence and my ability to explain things. Like, I was a debater in high school. I was never a sports kid. And I put like a lot of pressure on myself to be very smart and very articulate. And it's fine, but we are all dumbasses. And if your self-esteem is based on never acting like an idiot, you're going to have bad self-esteem. So a lot of my therapy has been trying to embrace my own stupidity and foolishness and clumsiness. And, you know, when I'm writing and feel really insecure about my script, just being like, yeah, maybe this is bad. Okay. Maybe it's foolish to publish this. Okay. I'm a fool. So let's just try and be easy on yourself. So that's always been a lot to me. And then I had that shirt and just thought, there's something about it, about him looking away from the sun, almost feels like apropos of trying to do good while climate change is happening. Or just like, okay, going to try to be good, even though I know that I can't stop what's happening right now. And so I thought that was really beautiful. Not beautiful, appropriate. And yeah, I just, in my head, I try to tell myself, be the fool. Like, don't worry about being dumb. Try to accept foolishness is one of the beautiful things in life. Silliness and frivolity and not being taken seriously are beautiful parts about life. A side note, but I think there's something, I might lose half of you. I think there's something very heterosexual or much macho about the emphasis we put on rationality and reason and like detached logic, in the sense that like queer men or femme men are often, and also women are dismissed as being like unserious and irrational and overly emotional. And so the Fool is also for me like a rejection of the pressure to be serious and to like be smart and rational, because the world obviously isn't just that. And there's beauty in emotion and silliness and childishness. And so it's also like a rejection of the stoic badass. Someone keeps asking, what's my sexuality? Very gay. Very, very gay. Love being gay. Love Drag Race. Love feminists. Detest Andrew Sullivan. Gay. Queer. I feel like I had a lot of jokes in this video that made very clear that I was gay. Oh, the other thing too is like, AIDS was a very important touchstone for me in this video, because AIDS to me is like a perfect example of the plague metaphor colliding both an actual virus and the politics of indifference and cruelty. And so you can see that, like, to me, the AIDS crisis is like one of the defining elements of what Camus was talking about. There was a clip at the very end of the video that you saw some people like sort of fighting the cops, like moving together. And some of that footage was from an action that took place at the White House where AIDS activists were throwing the ashes of the partners they lost over the White House fence. The partners had obviously agreed and said, when I die, use my ashes and do this. But to me, it was like such a clear encapsulation of Camus' idea of like, you will die, you can't win this fight. Even in your death, let your ashes be used for something that serves others. That I thought was just like an unbelievable example of decency in the face of horrificness. So not only is my humor gay, my sense of reading this book is very inspired by queer activism and just the stubbornness of queer people throughout history, fighting often losing battles. Okay, let's see. Season 13 winner, Sarah? I don't know. This is about Drag Race. I don't know. I'd be very happy with Simone or Gottmik. I really am overwhelmingly obsessed with what they've done, both of them. I think it's been a genuinely great season. I've really, really enjoyed the season of Drag Race and the UK season of Drag Race. Though I do think UK should have been mini. Camus was not queer. He was actually a notorious womanizer. Notoriously cheated on his wife when he had kids. So, though I admire a lot of what Camus does, I do not hope to emulate him in that way, both in having a wife and cheating on her. That I feel like every great male author that I learned to really admire, the more I learn about them, inevitably they're awful to women. Why does this happen? Men, why? Every male author that I like, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's just like me. He's reading my mind. And then I Google search him and it's like, cheated on his wife, beat his wife, generally shitty towards women. It's like, gosh. This is why I never don't idolize intelligent straight men. It makes them monsters. Don't idolize anybody. Okay, let's see. Do I support the Equality Act? No. I oppose the use of state power to advance progressive ends. That's obviously a joke, sure. I don't know anything about the Amazon stuff. I was obviously watching it while it was happening, but I don't know, just a lot of general bad things happening in politics while I was making this video. I kept having to like stop including new examples. You'll hear some parts of the video where my voice sounds different all of a sudden, and it's because I had to update the awful things that had happened, like the death count from COVID. First time I shot the video, it was 400,000 dead. Had to edit that to be 500,000 dead, and almost more than that while I was shooting it. So at some point, I needed to stop addressing what was happening in the world because there's too much bad things happening in the world, and I need to just assume that you would apply whatever I said in this book or in this video to the other awful things that are happening in the world. Let's see. Do I listen to music while I work? Sometimes. This video was actually very clip dependent, despite not being that. Despite being like an emotional, more professional video. But I have to like watch a lot of stuff to find the clips for this video, and a lot of like kind of heartbreaking stuff. I didn't get a lot of time to work while listening to music. The script writing was very difficult. Usually when I know what I'm going to write, I'll listen to like lo-fi hip hop or whatever, or just like dumb just background music. But I spent a lot of time in silence, staring at the wall, being like, why don't I know how to use words? Why am I so bad at writing? And just like smashing my head against a wall over and over again, and doing that. Oh, I should also say, by the way, I don't know if I said this, but there are 2 new shirt designs in the merch store that I think are really cool. One of them says Counterspell, and it has 2 hands like that with rose petals around it, which is an idea that someone gave, I think, in the last live stream we did. That shirt exists now, it's in the merch store. And the other is of 3 Red Bulls with little roses in their hair, and it just says Big Us over it. So those are really cool. I need to find a place to donate the proceeds from merch for this quarter to, because I usually find some place to donate it to. But yeah, I already ordered my Counterspell shirt. They're really cool. It's like a nerdy D&D / Magic the Gathering reference. So yeah, the merch store is in the description, and you should check them out because I think they're really cool, weird, lefty art. George asks, do you have a Patreon? Yep, I got a Patreon. Link is in the description to the videos. Really glad for everyone there. I'm going to be publishing a video to Patreon this week about like little private things about this video and some stuff that got deleted, or some stuff that got cut because it didn't really fit for time, and just like some things that I thought were cool in making this video. Yeah, it's there. Oh, I also published the first 35 minutes of this video to Patreon before I published the whole thing, because I just needed humans to say, this makes sense. If you ever worked on a video for several months with no one looking at it, you get to a point where you're like, is this English? Does this make sense? Are these words? And so I just needed to publish a part of it and be like, good. And everyone on Patreon was really nice. So that was really great. Emma says my video made her cry. I'm glad that you felt understood by it. Obviously, I don't really want to make you cry, but if you cry made you feel better, I'm glad. I cried a lot making it. I know that on camera I normally present as like a doofy big idiot, but I actually have like a lot of sadness sometimes, and this is just my first time talking about it in a hopefully educational way. But I've been in therapy for a long time. I have a lot of grief and sadness in me. Someone asked last time, like, what would make a perfect boyfriend? And I said something about like combination of light and sadness. And that's what I mean. Like, I can be funny and stuff like that, but I have a real sense of grief about the world a lot of the time that it's just a part of me. I don't know. If someone was expecting me to always be funny and cute, they'd quickly find out that underneath all the like jokey shit, I have like a real despair that I just allow to pay rent in my head and live with me here because I don't know what else to do with it, and I don't really want to fight anymore. Anad asks, what generation of immigrant are you? Is it 2nd generation? My parents are from Cuba, so I'm the 1st generation born in this country, in Miami, a city that will learn sooner rather than later the effects of climate change not being taken seriously. Fucking Florida, going red this last election. Someone asked, what's the significance of the red rose? Catherine, I think it's a socialist calling card. Red rose is usually a reference to socialist politics or just solidarity. So, or solidarity more broadly. So I like to include it in t-shirt designs, and there's a whole like reactionary movement on Twitter to be like, oh, red rose emoji Twitter is being so shitty or whatever. And I just think it's silly, and I love red rose emoji Twitter, and I think the red rose is like such a cool, sexy thing. I don't know, it like reminds me of Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon. There's just something so sexy about it. Like, ugh, red rose? Come on, who let socialists have that? What a banger idol to have. So yeah, I try to use it whenever I can. Let's see. Florida is a lawless swamp filled with dinosaurs. I will just say that I'm glad to be in New York. The amount of Cubans I saw waving Trump flags while I was in Miami, Florida. The amount of Cubans I saw not wearing masks while I was in Miami, Florida. Talk about plagues spreading to people who should know better. Unbelievable. The cognitive dissonance it takes for Cubans to not have a natural allegiance with every other fucking immigrant is jarring to me. I'll never understand it. It's the equivalent of the gay guys who can pass us straight and so shit on gay guys who can't. It's like mass gay guys shitting on femme gay guys. Any fucking marginalized group, if you can get close to the dominant group, you immediately turn on the ones who can't, and it's just exhausting. I get it. I have the benefit of like being relatively white passing and growing up in Miami, where I never really experienced racism directly. But the minute you leave, Cuban or not, you will be called a Mexican. Those are your brothers and sisters, whether you know it or not. Solidarity with other immigrants, goddammit. So frustrating. I mean, you can't reason with it. It's another ego thing. Like, I got mine, fuck you, that kind of thing. But I think it's such a sign of indecency. It's such a sign of heartlessness to become from an immigrant background and not immediately have allegiance with everyone else who experiences that. It's just mind-boggling to me. It's so frustrating. Okay, let's see. We call that maneuver the Candace Owens. You know, Connor, speaking of Candace Owens, when I was making the fucking anti-politics video, Candace Owens had the audacity to tweet an Albert Camus quote where he said something along the lines of like, you know, tyrants always invoke the public health, the cause of public health to like take away people's freedoms. The audacity to cite Camus, socialist antifa dreamboat Camus, for Candace Owens, that like set me off on the path. I was like, ugh, not on my watch. It was so frustrating, but yes, that is the Candace Owens move. I live by the street, so if you hear car music, that's why. But yeah, that was really killer. Is Camus the play worth reading? I think so, man. There's some quotes that I didn't get to use in the video that are really unbelievable. He's a beautiful writer. I don't know. It really fucked me up reading it. Yeah, I think you should read it. And Myth of Sisyphus too, if you are interested in it. But yeah, great writer. Let's see. Everyone's just dunking on Candace Owens now. Candace Owens is my fucking like designed especially to make my blood boil. What if I ever find something to say about her that's not just like fuck, I'll make a video about her. But man, what a purely distilled product of right-wing media come to life. Like every bad impulse on Fox News perfectly condensed to one person with just zero capacity for empathy or self-reflection. Killer. Absolutely exhausting. Let's see. Oh yeah, also read The Stranger if you're interested in Camus. I only speak English. I can fake Spanish when I'm being yelled at in Spanish. I know what to do to make the yelling stop. But I'm not fluent. I can fake it really well. I can fake the accent really well. But when I was in middle school, I had a Spanish teacher that said, if you want to live and work in Miami, you need to learn Spanish. And me being the brat that I was like, I don't want to fucking live and work here. I'm not learning a word of this. I'm forcing myself out of Miami by not knowing a word of Spanish. And here I am in New York. Let's see. How many pages was the script for the video? A lot. Holy shit. The script is massive. And there are huge chunks that got cut out. 80 different versions of every section. Like, I don't know how to write emotion. Like, I don't know how to write when I'm not jumping from piece of evidence to piece of evidence. So I agonized forever over the intro, over the death and whatever comes next section, and then everything in between. even like condensing the sections into like scapegoating, avoidance, fixing it, trying to find a way to talk about it that was broad enough that it included both COVID and fascism, but also being specific enough that you understood what I was explaining was like a real challenge. There's so many times where I was like, this really only works for COVID, this only works for fascism. I was like constantly grappling with feeling like the script was inadequate or just like too hard to follow. I used the lights and everything to make clear when I was talking about each, but one of my big anxieties while I was doing it was, this is too big, this is too broad. My most common feedback when I was at Vox was, this video is too big, or this idea is too big, you need to like condense it, because they wanted the videos to be shorter. And that voice is in my head very much for this video, like, what would your Vox editor say about this huge fucking monstrosity you created? But it turned out okay. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I'm glad I did it. I don't think I could have made a shorter version of this. But yeah, I was very scared about having bitten off more than I can chew. Let's see. Have you considered doing any regular streaming? No. I don't want to stream D&D because I feel like once you make a fun thing work, it becomes less fun. And I know that people can be like very critical of DMs or players in general. I just don't want my players to ever feel any pressure that they need to like perform for an audience. And I don't really stream about politics because, as you can tell, sometimes it takes me a very long time to figure out how I want to say the thing I want to say. And I feel like streaming incentivizes or makes it easier to speak thoughtlessly and say something that you don't mean, or you haven't really thought about, or that's not nuanced enough, or do the opposite, which is like only say the most lowest common denominator baseline shit that like anybody, like, you know, like how cable news is so boring because they have to talk 24 hours a day, so they're just saying the same 5 things over and over again. So I don't really want to do that. Maybe my feelings about it will change at some point, but as much as I love interacting, I do want you to only feel like you're hearing me talk when I have something worth saying. And oftentimes I really don't, or I don't, or I just need time to figure out a way to say it. This is why I'm a nightmare on dates, because people who know who I am want to talk about politics, and I'm like, I hate talking about politics. I hate it. I like thinking about it and writing about it and like trying to find a thing to say, but someone asked me for a hot take about politics the other day, like casually, and I just said I have zero feelings about any of it. But what do you feel about it? Because I just don't. I just like taking time. Someone pointed out that I flail my hands around. I'm gay and Cuban. This is how I keep my center of gravity in place, by talking like this. I know I should. Fuck it. Whatever. Would it be fun to watch my videos if I just talked like this the entire time? This is animated. I'm not gonna be insecure about my body flailing. All right. It's just how I talk. Just how I talk. I'm not gonna fight it. Let's see. Olivia asked, what could be done to rein in Fox News? It seems like suing the shit out of them is working. Suing them for spreading lies and doing personal damages to the Seth Rich family seemed to work. Absent that, civil rights organizations are now like helping boycott Tucker Carlson, which may work. Or get some fucking billionaire to buy Fox News and shut it down. What is Bloomberg doing with his money? Buy Fox News and shut it down. Let's go. Fucking Bloomberg. Let's see. Thank you for popping in and saying that you like the video. It means a lot to me. I'm like kind of blowing past that because I don't want to like just be retweeting praise, but every nice comment means the world. I was like genuinely fucking terrified that nobody would know what I was talking about and nobody would like the video. Genuinely. Like, I cannot tell you the fear that I had about this video. And it's both because the content was like not what I usually talk about, and because if you didn't like the video, it's not to say you didn't like my argument. It would, to some extent, be that you didn't like me, because it's just me talking about grief and like humanity and a thing that I struggle with. So if you're like, this video sucks, I think I would have been like, I suck. So it's very nice that was not the reaction. Thank you for liking me showing up differently. Anyway, let's see. Thanks. I think those are very, very sweet. Thank you. Collab with Philosophy Tube. I would love to collab with any of the other left tubers. I love them all, but I don't know what I would offer to any of them. I don't have any technical skills. I don't have a good reading voice, and I don't have like hot takes. I'm also not a philosophy person. Like, part of the reason that this video kicked my ass is because I took maybe one philosophy course in college. I was a political science and gender studies person, which I guess is a kind of philosophy, but like general philosophy more broadly. Like, I watched Abigail's Jordan Peterson video, and it's so smart and so good, but I have no idea what the fuck is going on half the time. I don't know what any of those terms mean. So I feel like I would not be very useful to Natalie, Abigail. Like, they all do such great, smart things, but I feel like if either of them asked me to contribute, I'd be like, I am genuinely too dumb to talk about this. So I don't want to just like crowd into their videos and have them be like, all right, mouth breather, what do you want to talk about? Fox News is bad. Okay, you already knew that. What are you doing here? Get off the screen. Let's see. Ryan asked, did I hear that Rina Sawayama is collabing with Elton John? Oh my God, great question. I'm obsessed with her. Yes, I did hear that. One of my new 2 songs I listened to the whole time I was down in Miami to like not lose my mind were Bodies by Muna, which is the best song of the year, and Lucid by Rina Sawayama. I just like levitated off the floor. Oh, and then after my breakup, Who's Gonna Save You Now was also my like cardio in the garage, like just get just anger at the world. So yeah, I'm a big Rina fan. Let's see. Capitalist asked what other book makes me feel that like, oh, you see me type way. Who's, I'm gonna sound so dumb. Who's Consider the Lobster again? The guy with three names? I'm so dumb. What is the dude's name? Consider the Lobster. The guy who beat his wife. Anyway, I loved his writing until found out that he's kind of a shitty dude. Also, no, not Jordan Peterson, you guys. Not David Foster Wallace. Thank you, Daniel. David Foster Wallace made me feel that way. Not Jordan Peterson. Are you kidding me? Jordan Peterson is antithetical to my entire approach to life. Yes, David Foster Wallace. I really loved some of his writing, but obviously a very tortured person who was not perfect. The other, I mean, a queer person whose writing I really resonate with is Kenji Yoshino, who wrote the book Covering, which is one of my favorite books of all time and one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, and is just an absolutely fucking barn burner of a book about assimilation and identity, and made me a better gay person than I was before. Let's see. What is my approach to life, Celeste? I think it's in flux, but I think the thing that you could probably take away from this video is trying to get really good at suffering, trying to get really good at being heartbroken and not retaliating. It might be like too intimate for a live stream, but I'm someone who's struggled a lot with like trying to control the world around me and avoiding harm or betrayal or whatever. And I think part of the reason I got into debate and got into like trying to get very good at explaining things is because there's this belief in my head that if I just was a master of language and explained everything correctly and fully understood people, that I could fix everything and avoid harm and avoid suffering and control people in a way. And it's taken a lot of therapy to learn that that doesn't work. And that it's not really anybody's fault. So I think I've gone from this, my approach to life 5 years ago was like, be stoic, be monkish, let nothing hurt you, be a rational demigod who just like observes the world and is a total master of his own emotions. It's a bad way to go through life and not sustainable. And it's taken me a lot of therapy to get out of. And it's also a very like bullshit hetero male way of viewing the world. It's the cowboy. My first life now is suffer, allow yourself to be wounded, be loving anyway, try anyway, let go what you can't control, and treat people with dignity and kindness, and be a good side character if you can. Be as gentle of a background actor as you can in other people's lives. And when someone loves you and someone's good to you, really like, don't just say thanks. Be like, thank you. You genuinely did not have to do that. I sort of mentioned this in the video, but the flip side of realizing that you're not the main character is that you really start to appreciate the people who treat you like you are. Like anybody who says they love you and goes out of their way to take care of you, whether it's a friend or a lover or a therapist or a family member, that person is treating you like you matter, despite the fact that like on the grand scheme of things, you don't. So enjoy that, take that in. And once you like really appreciate that, you feel less hurt by the things that don't go your way, because how could they? You're just a background character who happens to have like a lot of people who love you very much. So yeah, my general approach to life is be good, take it easy, try to help, suffer without making the world suffer as a result. Allison wants to know if I do psychedelics or weed. Weed, sure. I don't really love psychedelics. I can be very self-critical, and my experience with psychedelics has been not good in that respect. But I've had some pretty bad experiences, like bad context. So, but yes, drugs are lovely. Do you still keep up with Johnny Harris? John Foster asks. Yeah, I was in his video not that long ago. He did a video about why the news sucks, and he asked me to be in it. And in that video, you can see I'm in a different place. It's because I'm in Miami when I did the interview for that. But Johnny's great. Is great too. His wife, that whole family is great, and they've always been super sweet. I've mentioned this on the live stream before, but when I first started my job at Vox, when I was like so in over my head, Johnny treated me like I was just a totally qualified, legitimate member of the team. And like every time I published something for Strike Through, he would tell me what he liked about it, and he just made me feel like such a human there. Johnny is top tier, great human, as good and kind in person as he is on camera. It's not an act. That whole family is genuinely that big-hearted. So yeah, I love them. They're all great. Let's see. I don't like being a background character. Yeah, none of us do, but we are. It's lovely. One line that I was playing with in my head while I was writing the video was, being a background character makes you appreciate the set a bit more. Like realizing the camera's not on you gives you a chance to appreciate the other background characters and the set. So I really have spent a lot more time in nature and just being in awe of little dumb shit, because the world isn't about me. So isn't it wild that I get to look at flowers? like enjoy a nice day and sit in a park and listen to people talk. Like, how beautiful to have the freedom of not having to do a script. You know, just like get to just be yourself. By the way, there's still 500 of you in here, even though I've been talking for an hour. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. This is super nice. I live alone, so this is about as much social interaction as I'm going to get for a while. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. You guys are all really lovely, and I like hanging. This is great. If you think this is frivolous and stupid, that's totally fine. Like I just needed kind of like a break from thinking about grief for a bit. So I'm gonna just let myself be like frivolous and silly for a bit. Are you ever in a collab with Brian David Gilbert? I actually did collab with him when I was at Vox for the Tucker Carlson False Consciousness video. He's like just the coolest. I have such a like creator crush on him. I think everything he does is golden. He's so smart, so funny, and another genuinely great, big-hearted person who when you meet him in person, you're like, yeah, that guy is dope. There's no act. He's genuinely that funny and weird and lovely to be around. Like very lucky that I got to interact with him. I don't think I know he's indie now. I don't really know if we'll collab because he does more like A, more artistic stuff, and B, more like funny, non-political stuff. But if they ever want to, I love him. He has my blade until the end of time. Let's see. From Australia, I'm always shocked by having international subscribers because I feel like my videos are so US specific. But like half the comments on this video were like, "You think that's bad? I live in Brazil." Every time I'm like, "Fair. I'm sorry. It's so much worse." But yes, solidarity to all inmates, whatever your particular prison might look like right now, and hi to everyone who's not in the US. I hope when I am writing, I do try to be better about being like, I'm using the US as an example because that's what I know, but obviously this is like talking about the human condition. So hopefully all that stuff is understandable. There's some people asking some very specific Vox gossip questions, which I'm not going to do. But the questions are making me laugh. They are very funny. What a weird time. What a weird time in my life. Let's see. Also, whatever stupid questions you want to ask, fire away. Sorry, I'm having a hard time like keeping up with it. But I'm trying to read. Oh my god, you guys are from everywhere. Damn, Norway. Oh. This is random, but I'm not a travel person. I don't like traveling. It gives me anxiety. But I have been stuck in America for a year now, and now I want to go travel. Should I go to Berlin? Is Berlin cool? If you have things about Berlin that I should see, please shoot me an email and tell me what I should go see, because it seems very scary to me. And also Germans have a kind of a bad track record in my memory, but it seems it might be cool to go. I don't know. The accent's hot. Jerome asked, do I see myself making a new style show like Hassan on Netflix? I don't know. I don't think anybody would ever pick me up to do a show. I don't think this stuff works in a corporate branding environment. So I think we'd be able to run commercials on this bad boy. I would like go into and out of every commercial break being like, don't buy this shit, by the way. You don't need this shit. You'd be like, why? We're not advertising on your show anymore. I don't know. I don't think so. We'll see though. Never say never. If someone wants to give me a show, that'd be cool. But I imagine that I'm going to be indie for a long time. Let's see. Feels like I'm just in your home talking. This is. I always say this always feels like kind of like we're going on a date. Remember dates. Remember strangers. But yeah, I do like this. Though I feel bad that I can't respond to everybody. But let's see. Oh, you want to see more of this tank top? It says "Never again, fight back." It's a really cool shirt that I got from the San Francisco LGBT Historical Society that I really like, and it's dope. I wore it during the big Pride protests here in New York last year, and it's great. Let's see. I'm not turning on Super Chat. I don't want money for this. I'm already getting a social interaction, and I appreciate that. This is not a don't turn things that are just fun into work. I appreciate it. You all are very sweet, but no, you don't have to pay me for this. My tattoos. A lantern, which is a reference to the show Hades Town, and also it's kind of like the door that Orpheus has to walk out of. Just a reminder to try to do good even when you're not sure if it will work, even if you doubt yourself. This is an ode. I've said this before, so I'm going to power through them. It's an homage to being alone and being lonely and having parts of yourself that are not understood by others, and that being okay. This is let's say a tattoo about chaos and letting things fall apart. I have a shield, which is a reference to one of my favorite video games. I have a pause sign, which is a reference to a concept in therapy that's helped me a lot. And then another tattoo that I got, I think, last summer. Here, I have 5 musical notes that are 5 notes from Aerith's theme song from Final Fantasy VII that just mean a lot to me. So if I'm ever shirtless around you and you have a piano, you should play those 5 notes and make me immediately start sobbing and getting emotional. Do I cook? Michael Brown. I'm a very bad cook. Since moving back, I've tried to be better about it. I'm growing green onions and cherry tomatoes in my tiny New York apartment, which is dope. I tried to eat them today. They tasted bad. So maybe I just need to give them more time. But I'm a horrific cook. I also have zero taste. I have zero taste. I'm like the cheapest date in the world because whatever you give me, I will eat and say it's good. So I don't have any pressure to become a good cook because I will eat anything. I've eaten. No, I shouldn't say. My family roasts me because I will have for dinner, I'll just open a can of black beans and eat the black beans out of the can and be like, good, that's a meal. I have zero, I don't have any class. I have no class. Let's see. Cocktails, I don't drink. My Achilles heel is kombucha. I fuck with kombucha. Let's see. Sorry for the Brooklyn noise. Just think it's kind of fun because people will just like fly by playing reggaeton. So I'm editing, I'll just be like, all right, mini dance break while they fly through. Let's see. I am very American. Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna be a terrible person if I ever start dating somebody because I live disgustingly. Can you imagine just eating black beans out of a can and being like, that's dinner? I feel like if someone ever knows me intimately, they're going to be like, you are an actual cave person. How have you not grown up? Let's see. Oh, Alex Fraser asked about the game Hades. One of the best games I've ever played. I'm not a roguelike person, but I played that game while I was down in Miami, just like to kill my brain for a bit. And holy shit, what a good game! What a good gay game! Loved every second of that game. Let's see. If not NYC, where would I want to live? If I ever find out that I don't have that much time left, I will go to Maine and go to Acadia National Park and sit and wait for the end. I love Maine. I love quiet, waterside, cold towns. Love it. So I would go to Maine. I lived in DC for 8 years. I could do that again, but I don't really want to. Mostly because I don't want to kiss another person who works at Deloitte ever again. No more Deloitte, guys. Or I'd go to, I don't know, maybe San Francisco. Just immediately go into debt. I don't know. Don't know what supercar is, so sorry. Let's see. Still talking about the beans thing. I said that in confidence. I don't want to get roasted. I don't want to get roasted about my eating habits for the rest of my goddamn life. Let me live in peace. It's low waste, low time consumption. I need to just date a chef. Let's see. The origin of my Twitter handle. That's so embarrassing. A long time ago, before I even had my Vox job, I thought I was going to be. I had this like fantasy of being a YouTuber who just like talked about gay issues. And my ideas for it were so bad. They were so bad. They were just like, why it's dumb to like people who are masked. Just really entry-level GSA dumb video prompts that no one would have watched. And I thought, oh, I should lock down the handle gay wonk, like the one who knows everything about being gay, the fucking hubris of it, forever ago. And then my last job before Vox was like, you need to start tweeting your pieces. So I just started tweeting from that handle. And then just like kind of through inertia, just became my handle. So now anytime a guy is like, oh, what's your Insta? To say it's gay wonk. Yep. I'm a nightmare. Don't ever fall in love with me because I'm a fucking nightmare. So I'm just stuck with it. But it's when I basically had fantasies of being like a really woke Tyler Oakley type YouTuber, and thankfully I did not go down the gay only content path because I would have run out of things to say in like 5 minutes, and it just would have. There's too many gay people on YouTube, me including. Too many of us. We need to diversify our craft. Let's see. I should change my Patreon level names to inmate. Maybe. I did think about it. Let's see. The bean thing is killing me. I said that in confidence. Beans and peanut butter. Favorite musicals. Favorite musical, Jessica, is Company. Stephen Sondheim. I just love straight characters voicing a gay author's frustrations with marriage. And I think it's the most beautiful, honest depiction of the brutality of commitment and intimacy on stage. When I was in DC, I took singing lessons for a few years. And one of the songs that I sang at a recital was Marry Me a Little from Company. I just love that show. I love Hadestown. I think what else. I mean, like Wicked and stuff. But I don't know. I used to drive to school listening to the Wicked soundtrack and playing Thank Goodness so loud that my ears would be ringing. So that's the kind of gay kid I was in high school. Just blowing my eardrums out with Kristen Chenoweth singing in her high register. How about that 2006 revival of Company? That is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. That you can see it on YouTube for free, and it's great. Do you dance? Hell yeah, I do. I have to be careful because I am 6 feet tall. So if I dance like this, I will hit somebody and they'll be very mad at me. So I kind of just do more vertical dancing, a lot of like jumping up and down. But the thing I miss most about the Before Times is going to a club and just like losing my shit. To me, it's as close as I get to prayer. Just like the religious communal experience of letting loose and letting it rip. I'm very excited to go to dance parties if I ever get to go to dance parties again. Redundant Quail asked thoughts about Ian Danskin's content. I love Ian. If anyone asks, that is my fucking king right there. Content is amazing, such a sweet person, and explains things better than I can ever explain things. Like, Ian is the absolute, to me, top tier. Love Ian. You should see, if you don't know who this person is, search Alt-Right Playbook on YouTube and just have your mind blown by truly one of the smartest I think political writers of the YouTube world. Let's see. Yeah, I miss clubbing. Favorite YouTubers. See, I can open my subscriptions right now and check. I've been watching a lot of like Critical Role recap YouTube channels because I don't have time to watch the whole stream every week, but I do love watching Critical Role content and love them all very much. When I made my D&D video for Vox, Matt Mercer followed me on Twitter, and it is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. They have like kept me sane and safe throughout the pandemic, so I love that. Video Game Donkey, I love a lot of random shit. A lot of like musical artists like Orla Gartland, who I think is really good. I think anything else. A lot of like Drag Race recap channels. I do not watch a lot of leftist content on YouTube just because it gives me wicked imposter syndrome. Like, it makes me self-loathing to see people who are so good at what they do and be looking at my script and be like, why is this not good enough? Go be like Natalie. But it's I know it's a bad way to get into my own head. And I'm getting better about like not comparing myself to other people and just like letting it ride. But I try to not like go down the rabbit hole that much. And also I don't want to copy anyone's ideas. So sometimes it's just better to be like in an isolation chamber. And I just, for my own reasons, I don't love streaming political content. It's just not for me. I don't feel like I learn a lot from it, and I think it incentivizes bad behavior. Though there are some very good streamers, I'd rather just watch like an hour-long video than watch a stream. But yes, obviously all the leftist YouTube, like Lindsay, Contra, Floss YouTube, I love them all. H Bomber guy. Let's see. Have you watched The Politician on Netflix? No. I watched like one episode and I couldn't anymore. Ryan Murphy's stuff doesn't sit that well with me. You know what I have gotten very into is Survivor. I think I'm going to audition for Survivor. No joke. I think I could win. I watched like 15 seasons while I was home, and I think I could win. I'm going to audition. They take 3-minute audition tapes. I'm going to just try to see if I can do it. But I obviously can survive on very little food. I'm tall. I feel like it'd be fun to work with. And I'd give great confessionals. I want to try. I'm obsessed with Survivor now. Let's see. Yes, I do watch videos in 2 times playback speed, though I'm putting you on mute because you've said that too many times. Sometimes when I'm watching clips for research, I'll pump up the speed to like 3 times speed. So I'm just trying to listen for a word. My brain is broken. Let's see. I'm not actually going to go on Survivor, but I do just want to apply and say that I've done it. They're gonna put me in a tribe with a homophobe, and I'm gonna have to have like a whole arc about building bridges with that person. And the whole time I'm just gonna be giving confessionals like, I don't give a shit about this person. But I don't know. I feel like it'd be a fun way to elevate my brand. Also, I would try to I'll try to unionize the camera people, and then they'd kick me off and never let me back on again. Or I'd win the grand prize and be like, all right, this is all going straight to a DSA. Like, I don't need a million stupid CBS dollars, but they would not let me on for that reason. But I think it would be hilarious to try. Let's see. Also, everyone on Survivor is too hot. Everyone on Survivor has a perfect body when the show starts. It's been a year of the pandemic. I can't. The pressure is a little bit. I can deal with that right now. Let's see. What's your opinion on Cuba? I don't know a lot about Cuba, despite being from there, so I'm not going to talk out of turn. I'm trying to only say things that I know a lot about. I watched Nurse Ratched while I was home. I also watched The Bachelor and The Bachelorette for the first time. My brain done broke. My brain done broke. I watched some bad TV while I was down there. It was rough. Let's see. What class is the big bad in your homebrew campaign? They're usually always liches, but I think I might try to have like an actual dragon campaign next time I play. The Queen, gig economy opinion. I don't know. It seems like a good way to get people to not unionize. It's probably generally bad, and we should find ways to organize people who do gig economy jobs. Do you think there'll ever be a gay bachelor series? God, I hope so. Purely for entertainment purposes. It would be fun to watch, but I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work. The whole premise of that show is bananas. The only way to win that show is to say, this is nuts. I'm not marrying this person. It's been 3 weeks. So gay people would be immune to it because after 2 days they'd be like, I'm not marrying you, Brendan. There are 100 other hot guys here who I could obviously marry or like date instead who don't want to get married to me. It would fall apart. But I would watch the crap out of it. Hell, I'd try to be a contestant. That's good TV. I want to be in that part of the cultural zeitgeist. But no, I do not think it would work. Let's see. Unionize the bachelors. Yeah, every time I watch these shows, I'm just like, why don't the contestants just say, this is an awful thing to do to people. We want leave. And also we want more dates. Just revolt. Get Chris Harrison out of there. Overwhelm that guy. He's small and not fast. Unionize. Stop that guy. Let's see. Feelings on. Am I secretly an enlightened centrist? I don't think so. I do get called a centrist a lot, or like a I guess like a liberal for having worked at Vox and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like my work is not centrist at all. Because I would be a centrist, I imagine, to like the economics over everything else type leftists who think that identity is a way that like the libs control the left. But no, I think my politics are pretty radical, or much more radical than they were 5 years ago. I live in New York, back in New York now, which is great. I really miss being here. I love it here. I'm excited for it to get warm soon so I can go sit in a park. My main source of entertainment during the pandemic has been sitting in parks and listening to people talk. Which is, I don't drink, so I don't go to bars anyway. And I live alone, so I felt really lonely through lots of the pandemic. And I would just go to sit in parks and listen to people talk and just like, hear voices talking and talk about like background character energy. There's something extremely humbling. Part of the reason I love New York City is because there's no way to get around here and still think that you're the main character. Like, the city just brutally reminds you that you ain't shit every day and that like you don't matter here and that you're just part of the group. And I love that about the city. I think it's a city for people who are madly in love with humanity because you're just confronted with it all the time. And I love it. Even the really awful parts, like the crowdedness, the people who are being assholes, the brutality of it. I think it's, if you love humans, you have to love that stuff. That's all humans. And I think so much of like modern American conservatism is about a deep dislike of humanity. Like people who are pissed about immigrants and crowded cities and whatever. It's like, you're not mad at immigrants. You just don't like people that much. We're all stuck on this planet together. If we're going to be stepping each other's toes. Like, you just have to make peace with it. The idea that the country's only for us, it's like, all right, you just don't like humans that much. It's just say you're a fascist and be done with it. But yeah, I love it here. That's one thing I didn't like about being home, is that Miami is a very like sit in your car and drive somewhere place, and there's nowhere to really to walk around, and you can spend weeks there not interacting with other humans and not colliding with other main characters. And I just like the feeling of walking outside and immediately getting to witness other people's stories and being like, yeah, what a lucky thing to be able to sit here and observe other people. Like, what a beautiful thing. Let's see. Uh, can you come hang out with me in New York? It was all over. I think probably not going to be hanging out with anybody for a while. My social skills have completely collapsed. I tried to befriend the barista guy who live above a coffee shop, and I went down to like get coffee and also like introduce myself when I moved here and say like, hey, I'm you. Hi, nice to meet you. And the coffee shop guy had a silence equals death mask. So I was like, we're gonna get along. And I tried to like be friends with him, and I got too excited, and then he said, have a good one. And I tried to say, thanks, you too, or see you around all at the same time. It was just like, blah, blah, blah. And every time I've gone down since, I have fucked it up again. And he probably thinks I'm a weirdo, but I hope he thinks I'm nice. Also, I like went to give a baked good to my neighbor when I moved in, just say like, hi, nice to meet you. I just moved in here. And they had a huge trans flag in the back of their apartment when they opened the door. And I was like, work, good luck. I got a good draw so far. But yes, I love being around humans. Let's see. Do I follow the British monarchy? No. So I have been just like by proxy exposed to it lately, and what a wild thing. Oh, another show that I got super into over the pandemic was Taskmaster on YouTube. I like went down the rabbit hole, watched every show, and learned two things. One, I'm in love with anybody with a British accent. Truly anybody. Whatever you look like, whatever you got going on, if you have that accent, I'm in love with you. It's a done deal. I have watched a bunch of episodes. I've seen a lot of different British people. If you are a British person, we are boyfriends. The other thing I've learned is that country is a real hellhole right now. Y'all have a special kind of racism happening over there. The monarchy thing is wild to me. It's wild. It's a shame because everything about the country to me is very appealing, except for everything foundational about it, I guess. But anyway, who is your favorite contestant and why is it James Acaster? My favorite contestant is James Acaster. In love. Every lanky British person could get it twice. Let's see. Have you ever taken the 16 personalities test? Nope. Though I am a big astrology person, and I did find out for Christmas, my sister got me a book of my chart and found out that I am a double Aries. Rising and Cardinal. Baby, let's go. We need to pick a fight. But then my moon sign is Capricorn. So I have a deep feeling of inadequacy that's built around work, which also very real. So that's like my only. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a what is it like superstitious person or whatever. But I do find myself caring a lot about astrology lately. And if someone ever wants to read my tarot cards, I'm going to say yes and take it very seriously. You gotta have a little bit of magic in your life. You gotta have a little bit of magical thinking. You can't just get raw dogged by reality all the time. You gotta believe in the power of the cards sometimes. Raw dogged by reality. Let's see. Did you ever check out Steven Universe? I tried it. I don't know. For some reason, it didn't click with me. I get why it's appealing, and I like the music a lot, but for some reason, it has not connected yet. Maybe I'll give it another shot. Would you date an Aquarius? I don't know. I don't think I'm supposed to. I don't think I do well with non-fire or earth signs for some reason. Tend to butt heads a lot. It's something about the like non-direct communication that does not work with me. I'm too bullheaded about everything. If I ask you what's wrong and you don't tell me, now we're in a fight. What's wrong? It's like, I'm way too aggressive about like all communication to date someone who's more reserved. So everybody in my life who I love is a Taurus or a Virgo. Everyone I fuck with is an earth sign because I like being around chill people who like sitting around and living a decadent, luxurious lifestyle. Let's see. Do I believe in aliens? Sure. I think it's big main character-itis to think that it's not possible or not happening. I do hope that if they're out there and see us, they just like skip. Don't come down here. We're not ready yet. Come back. We're just having a weird moment. I hope they just skip and go somewhere else. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this being our best foot forward? Let's see. I fuck with Geminis. Geminis and Aries get along. Did you ever play a role in the choir? I did sing in the Gay Men's Chorus when I was in DC, though I sang tenor 1 in the far back. I'm kind of tone deaf and can't read sheet music to save my life, and pretty consistently under the note. So I sang there for a couple months, and then one recital. This is a sad story. One rehearsal, standing next to some gay guy who, while we were doing warm-ups, just put one finger in his ear to block me out. And I was like, this is my last rehearsal. It was so much fun while I did it. I loved it. I think singing in a chorus or choir is like the coolest thing in the world, like that shared purpose and the beauty of it. But I'm gonna leave it to people who can actually sing. It's not for me. I have other skills. I'm a DM. Let's see. Everyone's just giving their astrological signs and seeing if we're compatible. Don't worry, it's not the moons and stars that keep us apart. It's my deep inability to communicate in a way that's appealing to other humans. Like a goddamn wrecking ball all the time. Let's see. Do I play any online games? I've played a lot of League. I played a lot of Hearthstone. So I haven't played in a long time because it's too addictive. Online games. Not really lately. I play a lot of solo stuff, like Baldur's Gate, Hades. What else have I played lately? Wasteland. I like party-based games. I like imagining my party having intimate relationships with each other and like bonding and stuff like that, which is why I love D&D. Let's see. Handbell choir. My main I played a lot of Overwatch too. I used to like playing Overwatch a lot. I would get very high and just play Lucio and just absolutely not get the job done. Skate around the arena, get killed, get yelled at on mic, but sometimes just gonna unwind. Let's see. Yeah, the latest Baldur's Gate, the one that just came out. Moon sign is Capricorn, rising is Aries. I don't play League anymore. It's too addictive. I had to stop with online games because it's I have obsessive attachment to things. So if I have a game like that never ends, I will just truly die of malnutrition. That's why I had to uninstall Hades, because it was just like generally too much of my time spent playing the game over and over again, and it would kill me. Am I realizing that a lot of the chat is video game nerds? Is that what's happening right now? This is my if I ever run out of things to say about politics, I'm just going to pivot to being a Twitch streamer and just have everyone watch me quietly get frustrated at the same level over and over again until everyone loses their interest in me. Let's see what else. Also, we can wrap up soon if you guys want. I can't believe there are still 500 of you here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm happy to answer other non-gamer questions. Someone asked if I played Chrono Trigger. Not only have I played it, I have Chrono Trigger art hanging up in my apartment. If I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her Luca, because that was my favorite first video game character. And I think it's a beautiful name, even though I know it's technically a boy's name in Italian, but I just think it's a beautiful name, and I love it. So yeah, big. I also have a poster of the Epoch above my computer. Whenever I'm working out, I listen to video game soundtracks, and Chrono Trigger is up there. This is a good distraction from state violence. Okay, fair. Yeah, let's keep hanging out then. Let's see. Book recommendations. This might be cheesy of me, but I've reading a lot of Brene Brown recently. She's someone who specializes in writing about shame, and I grapple a lot with feelings of shame. So I've been reading her books, and it's really helped me a lot, especially like around therapy stuff, but just like going easy on yourself and not lashing out, and just like letting yourself feel embarrassed and letting that be it. So I've tried to read a lot of that. Camus obviously taken up a lot of my brain lately. I think of any other books. I think that might be it. I'm not a big reader. I try, but I have bad focus and I don't know. My brain's too broken for it. But I try to read. Usually when a book motivates me, or when a video idea motivates me, I'll start reading books about it. Yeah, Velvet Rage, another one of my favorite books. How many years of therapy have you done? I started therapy a couple months after I started making videos. I went through a really bad breakup. That was a good chance to be curious about my own bullshit. So probably like 6 years now, I've been going to the same therapist. Truly the coolest person in the world, smartest person in the world. Saves my life every week. And it's just like down to hear me talk about whatever weird shit is in my head. So yeah, if anyone has any anxieties about going to therapy, if you can afford it, I think it's a thing everyone should be able to do. Makes you a better human. You just have like space to talk and be weird, and less wrapped up in your own shame and cruelty. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just gonna mute someone who's spamming the chat. Okay. Did I eat my cupcake? No, I'm gonna take a bite of it though because I'm hungry. Just one sec. God damn. I have a wicked sweet tooth. Trust that just kills me. God damn. Okay. Let me be bouncing off the wall all night now. So like 18,000 grams of sugar. I'm not doing a mukbang channel. Not appealing. What if I did a mukbang channel that was just like me eating beans out of a can, looking so sad and despondent? No, I'm not going to do that. Let's see. I love you too. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Let's see. It's a wet cupcake because it has condensed milk in it. The tres leches is a very wet dessert. I am vegetarian, trying to be vegan unsuccessfully. I'm really working on it. I'm just bad at it. I am trying, and eventually I will get there, I think. But I'm struggling. Advice for finding a good therapist. I think important to know is what makes you a tough therapy client, and letting your therapist know in the consultation call and seeing how they react. So when I got my therapist, I said, just so you know, one thing that I do in therapy is try to charm the shit out of my therapist and like make you really like me and say what I think you want me to hear. So I need you to be aware of that, and like, how do you feel about that? And she was very much like, cool, yeah, that doesn't faze me at all. I'll call you out whenever you do it. And she was like very hardcore about it, and it's been great. She like, I never get to do any of my bullshit because I already know that she knows, and so I get to just be more honest, even though I still do bullshit that I'm not aware of. But yeah, it's a consultation call is very important. It's like going on a date. Check the vibe. Madison asks, what do you want for your future? I don't know. I would like to keep making things that feel useful and honest. I don't really have like big plans about getting married or having a family or anything like that. I just turned 33. I think I'm at the point in my life where like I'm just more aware that stuff like that just might not happen and it's not really in your control. and that being okay. So I don't really know. If it happens, it happens. That'd be cool. I think what I can't control is I would like to be a good brother to my siblings, a good friend to my friends, and good to the people that I interact with on a daily basis, a good member of my community, and obviously, like, hopefully make enough money to sustain myself and, like, take vacations and stuff, and live a decent life. But I don't have some, like, fantasy of being hot shit or something. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't. It matters less and less to me as time goes on, because it's not my control, and also has nothing to do with the kind of person I am. Like, if it happens, it just happens. Let's see. When you go back to Vox, if they ask you, I don't think so. I don't think I want to work in a big video production team like that again. I just don't think it's conducive to the kind of stuff I want to make, and it's just not my vibe. I had a nightmare the other day that I woke up and was getting yelled at by a Vox editor, and it just, like, reminded me of how much I disliked having to filter my work up through a chain of commands that I had no real connection or insight to, and getting feedback from people who just, like, were nothing like me and didn't really understand me all the time. So no, I wouldn't want to work. I wouldn't want to work in a place where I felt like I wasn't trusted or treated like I was capable of doing my own thing. And I think there are a lot of newsrooms I think that would be difficult for me to work in like that. And I really like also this dynamic of, like, being able to connect directly. And I wouldn't want to have, like, some brand in between me and the work that I was doing. And also just, like, it was bad for my brain, I think. You become so fixated. The place you work for becomes so attached to your identity that you, like, lose a sense of who you are as a human being. Because these places, like, want you to, like, go to happy hour there and have all your friends be there, and you work late, and, like, they give you the swag of working there, and it gives you a really distorted sense of yourself. Like, I was never a Vox person. I'm just a human who happens to work there. And I think it can be really easy, especially for people like me who are very, like, who want to feel secure in themselves, to latch on to shit like that and become intoxicated by it. And as much as I miss having the, like, calling card of being able to say, like, yeah, I'm the Vox guy. You know me from Vox, whatever. Like, miss that identity marker. I do like that it's giving me room to be like, all right, if I'm not the Vox guy, who am I, and do I like that person? And I think it's an important shift for me to make, because no one can forever be that person. That's not a person. That's just, like, a name that gets slapped onto people whose work has nothing to do with where they work at. Okay. Add any character ideas for your videos? Obscene asks. So the first version of this video was basically all the therapist. The premise for the first version of this video was a therapy session between the therapist, who was narrating what was happening to me, and Carlos, who was going through therapy and, like, going through the stages of grief. So that video was supposed to be all therapist for the most part. And then, like, there would be a breakdown and Carlos and the therapist would fight, yada, yada, yada. But I shot it. Oh, I didn't really mention this, but I shot this whole video in October using that skit on my laptop because I was moving. And then I got to Miami and my laptop was destroyed. Like, hard drive meltdown, no one can recover any of the data, gone. Which sucked. I reshot it again, doing that therapist bit, but I was editing it and just thought, this is dishonest, because I'm doing a bit, I'm doing a character, I'm not talking to the audience genuinely about how I feel about grief, and I'm doing it to avoid vulnerability about this thing that I feel. So I was editing it and I just thought, this is bullshit. I should not make this video be a character thing just because I'm scared. I should just be honest about, like, yeah, this affects me as a video producer and this is real. So I ended up going with the script that I ended up going with. But yeah, that video is going to be all therapist character. I don't know if there'll be others. There's one other that I really like that in my head that I want to use at some point. I just haven't found a reason for it yet. So I'll introduce them at some point. I'm not very good with characters because I don't have a theatrical background. I didn't do theater in high school or college, and I have no formal training, and I just don't have a brain for it. So Carl and Charles are basically just alter egos, but I don't have a good. I'm not, I can't act like Abigail, and I can't set dress like Natalie. So, and that's okay. I don't want that to be my thing. I have other strengths, but sometimes it's useful to have other characters, and maybe I'll introduce some more. I will say, in general, Carl is much closer to the real me than Carlos is a lot of the time. My actual beliefs are more often reflected in Carl. And I use Carlos as a way to explain those ideas and introduce them and kind of have some distance from them. But in my mind, that hot himbo is me, or at least I hope it's me at some point. So yeah, the Carlos narrator is more often a device than how I actually feel about things. Let's see. What topics are you planning to do next for your next video, Leslie? I have a couple that I'm bouncing around. I will probably, the one I'm probably going to go with is free speech is bad, actually. Some version of that. The case against free speech. But there are a couple other ones that I have in my mind that I've been debating back and forth for a while. So we'll see. When I'm making a video like this, I'm usually bookmarking a bunch of other research that I see that is useful, but I just don't have time for right now. So this week I need to go through all the research that I've bookmarked and then look at the buckets that I have and think, what can I make? What is ready to be made into a video? So that's kind of my process. But right now I'm just decompressing from How to Be Hopeless and then focusing on what comes next. I will say I'm not doing another hour-long video for a very long time. That fucking killed me. And I don't think I'm gonna do a lot more griefy emotional videos because, well, that is a big part of me. There are other things I want to say, and it can't just all be grief. I just wanted to stop and honor that I felt this grief thing for a while. So yeah, I will pivot back to shorter, and by shorter I mean 15, 20 minutes, lighter, more comedy driven stuff. I just wanted to exercise this part of me and say, there, I said it. It's real. Now I can go back to the other stuff that I was working on. Let's see. Thanks, you guys are being really sweet. I love that himbo too. See, I feel people using. Oh, people using my videos as sources. I mean, I publish the citations for everything I do. And even though I'm not in a newsroom, I do have in my brain a real anxiety about ever saying anything that's not backed up by evidence, which is why I'm constantly having citations on the screen. So I think all my stuff is pretty solid. I hope that what I say is interesting enough or unique enough to cite. That would be really cool. I would feel very honored by it. I'm doing an interview this week with a kind of big podcast that's vetting to see if they want to do a segment about How to Be Hopeless. And it feels very weird because this video, unlike other videos, feels very much like this is Carlos's argument, even though it's obviously very closely tied to Camus. This analysis is not a reference to another journalist's work. It's really just me saying, here's what I think about this thing. And I often feel I hide behind other sources to let them make the argument for me. So it's very strange to have something out there that, yeah, the site would be Carlos Mazza in 2021 saying this thing, and who the fuck am I? Oh, also the other day I did an interview with Ted fucking Koppel because he's doing a segment on cancel culture, and he interviewed me, and it's my first big interview with a news organization since leaving Vox. My title will ostensibly be YouTuber and not Vox person, which is a really cool moment for me because I did not think I would ever get. Part of me feared that I'd never get taken seriously again, and it's cool that Ted fucking Koppel wanted to talk to me about cancel culture, and I did it in my room, and yeah, I'm just a person who survives on the strength of his argument and not on the thing attached to my name. That was that was very cool. Let's see. I know that people can do longer video essays, but editing an hour-long video on my laptop was like, at the end of it, my laptop was like, kill me, please. I'm not an animal. And it's just a lot of processing work to be able to make something that big. And by the end of it, I was like, I don't want to check for errors in an hour-long video, which is why there are some errors. But it's a lot of work. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna keep citing my sources. I'm very anxious about like having you all trust me. I don't ever want the theatrics of a video or my ego about like being funny on camera to undercut my commitment to like presenting a solid argument. So for me, it will always be evidence first, argument second, then style and jokes and characters last. And it's like my debater background. Like if I don't have evidence for something, I'm not going to say it. But I'm sure I'll fuck up or misread a study at some point because I'm still human. Let's see. I don't know Ask a Mortician. Should I check it out? You used me in your midterm, Isabel? That's really cool. Also, beautiful name. That's really cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. Or I mean, I don't know what you used me for. Maybe it was like an example of how not to do journalism, but that's really sweet. Okay, James asked, how do you go about, oh, it's coming up on 10, so I promise I'll wrap up soon. James asked, how do you go about your research? Usually I have like a thesis that I know in my head, usually like a sentence that I know is gonna be the headline. And then passively, whenever I'm on the internet, I am just like compiling citations for stuff that I think I might need at some point, stuff that might be relevant. So I have this huge Google Doc of like every idea I've ever had and all the evidence for it. When I feel like it strikes me that I want to make this thing, I usually sit down, organize all the evidence into arguments, and then like plan out an argument outline. And if there's something that's like kind of missing, I'll go look for it for a while and see if it's there. Usually the bigger thing is like, can I show this? Because I don't really ever want to make a video that's just me talking. So I like will look for archive to see if there's any clips that are really good examples of it. Or if I see a clip while I'm researching that's really great, I'll just like pull it and transcribe it. And then I'll usually just like genuinely, my research process is like sit in a park with soft music in a notebook and just look out and like imagine different ways of saying this thing. And I often imagine how would I explain this to my best friend who doesn't know anything about this, but who I really love? Like, how would I be generous in their understanding, but also make them laugh and try to make them feel like this is really accessible and understandable? And what am I really excited about that I can make them really excited about? And a lot of it is like sitting quietly and thinking, which is why I don't really want to work in a newsroom again, because I feel like there's not a lot of time built into just letting your mind wander and like imagine different ways something could be. You're like forced into the most efficient way of coming up with something. And sometimes there's beauty in just taking time. Like The Plague took a long time to write. It takes time sometimes to let your brain work. So a lot of it is just sitting and being quiet with my thoughts. And then when I have like a premise or a joke that I think is good and enough to start building off of, I'll go from there. And I'll make like a bunch of different script attempts and see what visuals I have, what feels weak. And then I will often walk around my apartment endlessly saying things out loud and seeing do they sound like how a human talks, and go that way. Have you ever had to reverse your thesis because your research showed that you were wrong? No, I think I've had to back off of my conclusion because my research showed that things were tougher than I thought they were. So sometimes I've made videos about like content moderation or speech rules, and went into it thinking I knew exactly how I was going to answer it. And after hearing a lot about it, decided it actually is kind of tough to answer it. And so I changed the ending of the video. But no, usually if an idea is in my head, it's because I've seen a ton of evidence that it's right by that point before I start like really sitting down. Yeah. Also, I can be very good at convincing myself of anything. If I think something is right, it's fucking right. but if obviously if I saw something that like contradicted my evidence, I would include it. And I try to have like lots of caveats in my video, but usually I do a lot of research before I even think of getting into something. Let's see. Brandon asks, is there something in the other version of the video that you wish you could make into the final version? Purely narcissistically, in the old version of the video, there was a scene where the therapist and Carlos fought, like argued with each other, and Carlos had like an emotional breakdown, like not like me in this video, but like really genuinely sobbed and was like fucking screaming and fuming and like hating the therapist. And it was meant to represent like the fucking the rage of and grief of ego death. And I acted the shit out of it. Like if you look at the old footage, the actual footage, there's like the whole unbroken take of me like losing my mind to the therapist screaming. And then the minute I deliver the last line, I'm like, I go from sobbing to being like, holy shit, that was a good take. Because like I did not think I could let loose like that because I don't have an acting background. So it was really cool to flex that muscle and be like, I can really become this angry, savage person. But like I said, even that was hiding behind a character that I don't, it was dishonest because I don't feel like that uncontrolled, angry person. The way I feel grief is very different. But yeah, it was just it would be cool to be able to publish that somewhere and be like, look, I can act, sort of. But you know, whatever. Let's see. I don't really want to release it on Patreon because it's very awkward. It's awkward to see me crying over something and screaming. I don't know, I'll think about it. I'm going to release a video of like some unpublished clips on Patreon, but I don't know if that'll be in there. I have to get the guts to do it. But it was really cool. I am not a big crier, and making this video has made me better at knowing how to make myself cry because now I'm aware of the subjects that do genuinely make me upset, and this is one of them. So that's it. Okay, I'll probably answer like a couple more questions, probably like 3 or 4 more, and then go because I feel like I just don't want to take up too much of your night. Okay, best breakfast, Sean Riley: scrambled eggs, English muffin, a little bit of chopped up green onions, and black coffee. My morning routine is making that for myself and listening to an episode of My Brother and Me, and like looking out the window. Very good way to start the day. Great way to start the day. Let's see. Recommendations for learning about ego death. Therapy helped me a lot. Really, any existentialist philosopher or like Taoist philosophy will kind of make you do it. Jennifer asks, does my therapist watch my videos? I don't know. We've talked around it. I don't know. She knows that I make videos, and when I was in group therapy, some of the members of my group therapy had seen my videos. I don't know if she's seen them, and I'm afraid to ask. Maroon asks, what's one thing that you have to let go of as you've gotten older? The belief that you can explain, that you can talk your way past someone's defense mechanisms. I really thought that if I just like went to therapy and learned how to talk good and explained to someone why they were being destructive or lashing out, that I could make them stop, and you can't. If someone is being governed by their ego, nothing you say will make it better. You just need to like make peace and let it go, even if that means getting your heart broken by it. It really sucks. It's brutal, but I mean, this is about like Trump supporters, people who like truly believe in the Trump bullshit, people who are like QAnon people. Like those people are not interested in evidence. They're just doing something because it makes them feel a certain way, and nothing you say will fix them or like snap them out of it. But then in other ways too, like if someone's being cruel or reactive or overly defensive when you try to set boundaries, like all that stuff. If someone is not willing to listen to you when you say you're causing me harm and like check their own ego and hear criticism, there's just no way that you can say that will get them out of it. Take a break. Maybe they'll calm down. Maybe they won't. But relinquishing control of how other people react to you and accepting the kind of pain that comes with that. Is the therapist character based on your real therapist? Nope. My real therapist is way cooler, way smarter, way better. The therapist is like a kind of a jokey character who plays a role, but my therapist is incredible. And I could not do her justice, and I would not try to emulate her because my relationship with her means too much to me. Anytime I do something with a therapist character, I talk to her about it beforehand, and like, in case she ever sees it, and just like to not be like shady about it. But no, those people are very separate. I would never claim to be able to speak for her. Let's see. Again. What can you do to spread my wonderful message? I don't know. If you like How to Be Hopeless, I would love for you to share the video, but it's also a big ask people to watch an hour-long video about grief. So if the video like doesn't do very well, that's cool. I kind of just want to get it out there and have it exist for people who need it and who feel like they want to feel less lonely in their feelings, and also for me to feel less lonely in it. But yeah, just share the content. I don't know. I'm always very wary about being like, subscribe, like, share, whatever, because if you want to, you'll do it, and that's not a prerequisite of our relationship. If you consume it and it's just for you, that's great. So yeah. But no, I don't have any ask beyond that. Even doing this is really cool. Like, this is more than I ever could have imagined. So I really appreciate it. What are some things you haven't broadly felt okay about in a while? I gotta say, though my life has been brutal lately, like with everything that's been going on, and I feel like I've been taking like a lot of big L's, I do feel like I've gotten better at taking L's, and it's made me a happier person. Like, I don't find myself spiraling that much anymore, and I find myself having like much more of a sense of humor and softness about life. So I feel good. I mean, I have my own apartment in New York, which is great. I have friends who I love, family who I love, really cool job, and my health. I feel okay. Like, I really can't control a lot more than that. Do you do any speech events along with debate? Nope, I was just a policy debater, which is why I talk too fast, which is why I rely on evidence too much, which is why I have every argument have like 1,000 subpoints. I'm a policy debater till the day I die. Okay. I think I'm gonna wrap up, mainly because I want to finish this cupcake, and also because I want to just be quiet for a while. Thank you for hanging out with me for 2 hours. Really cool. I hope you're staying safe. Please get vaccinated if you can. Thank you for watching the video and reacting positively. Like, as much as it is a thing that I hope makes you feel less lonely, also publishing was a way to make me feel less lonely and make me feel like, yeah, I'm not alone in feeling this, and there's something universal about this experience. And yeah, I wanted people to like be with me in it too. So this has been really nice to experience at my end. The next video will not be like that. It will not take me 6 months. I'm really excited to make it already. Like, this is an unusual thing. But if you stuck around and watched and are still with me, thanks. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad that I got to make it, and I'm really glad that you all enjoy it. I love you all. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for being my fellow inmate. Be good to each other. Go easy. Go easy on yourself. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.